you come up, we'll ask you your name or you will spell your name.
Okay, it says we're live streaming. Are you Miss Brantley?
No, I'm Miss Brown.
Miss
Your
Brown.
Honor, Ms. Brantley made bond.
Okay. Is it Miss Sean Brown?
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, you've been charged with 1 count of battery. I've set a bond for $5,000 and I put a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from a Miss Malaysia Carter. Do you
Okay.
think you can post this bond, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay, I'm setting a preliminary hearing date for March 30th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date is gonna get waived upon your bonding out.
Okay.
Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Qualified for appointment of a lawyer.
Okay. Uh-oh. Sorry. I'm sorry, ma'am. Give me 1 second.
You're fine.
Here we go. Okay, ma'am, you do qualify. I am going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No, sir.
Okay, ma'am, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Tell me your name, ma'am.
Amir Crawford.
Ms. Crawford, you've been charged with 1 count of theft by taking. The bond has been set by schedule for that at $2,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
Yes.
You're also going to have a preliminary hearing date that's going to be set for March 30th, but that date will be waived upon your bonding out.
Okay.
Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify?
Did you see if I qualify?
Okay.
And you said 2,000, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
You do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, ma'am?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Tell me your name, ma'am.
Jackson Edwards.
Ms. Edwards, you've been charged with a number of driving-related offenses. There's a driving under the influence charge. The bond is going to be set at $5,000 for that. Driving without a valid license, the bond is going to be set at $1,000. Improper lane change, the bond is set at $500. Leaving the scene of an accident, the bond is going to be set at $1,500. And driving on an expired or invalid tag, bond is set at $500. So that's going to be a total bond of $8,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, man?
I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can say right here.
You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for March 30th, but that date will be waived upon your bonding out. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I'd like to see if I qualify.
You do qualify, Ms. Edwards. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, ma'am?
You said it was 8,000?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Latricia Jones.
Ms. Jones, you've been charged with 2 counts of identity fraud and 1 count of theft by deception. The bond is going to be denied at this point on these 3 charges. I'm setting a preliminary hearing date for March 31st at 8:30 in the morning, and I'm also setting a bond hearing date for April 2nd. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir. What's the reason for denial? These charges are 4 years old. I wasn't aware of them.
Okay, I understand they're 3 years old. That's not the reason that the charges are being denied. It's being denied because of the way that this is listed out. It's basically said that you're taking people's identities and you're using their identities to purchase stuff. So that's why I'm denying that bond.
Sir, I wasn't even aware of these charges. I don't even know what it's pertaining to.
Okay, so there are 3 separate charges and they're related to the identity of a Karen Goodman being taken. And there's a card that was opened up in her name. It says on April 7th, 2017, that card was used to buy furniture. And then there's another time that her identifying information was used, and that was at a Saks Fifth Avenue, I believe. And it said that based upon the video evidence that they had, it was your vehicle that they identified. And they sent that information to the officer that was investigating the incident as it relates to the furniture. They took your picture and showed that picture to the person at the furniture store, and that person identified you as the person that had the card that allegedly belonged to a Karen Ruthven. That name was also used at the Saks Fifth Avenue, and you were identified as the person using the card at the Saks Fifth Avenue. So that's the basis of these charges.
Okay.
And I understand you're saying you didn't know about it or it's been pending for 3 years, but that's one of the factors as to why denying the bond, because it's taken 3 years to track it down.
I didn't know about it. I would have turned myself in, Your Honor. I didn't know about these charges. I would have turned myself in. I have 2 kids. I'll go on house arrest, Your Honor. I will take a house arrest. I have 2 kids at home. I have 2 kids at home. I need to go home, Your Honor.
Ma'am,
I got 2 kids.
I'm sorry that you have 2 kids, but you've been identified as committing this offense.
I would have turned myself in. I didn't know about it. I didn't know, Your Honor. I didn't know. I did not know.
So
That's why I put an address on file of my mother. She owns her house. She lived there. She's never going to move, so I will know about my court dates or anything I need to pertain to. Your Honor, I will go on house arrest. I will go on house arrest. I promise you. I won't violate any laws. I will go on house arrest, Your Honor. I have no problem going on house arrest. I just need to get on to my kids.
Ms. Jones, I am not going to change my mind about this. I'm not. This is not an offense. Based upon the allegation that they put in here, this is not something where you didn't know what you were doing based upon the allegation.
Your Honor, I don't even know what this is about.
Ma'am, I just told you what it's about. Did you want me to read it to you again?
No, sir.
Okay. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yeah.
I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Your lawyer is the person that can speak with the district attorney's office about them consenting to a bond, about them doing something else, but I'm just not gonna change my mind on this.
Okay, Your Honor, thank you.
You're welcome. You're free to go back. Are you Miss, is it Momond?
Yes.
Ma'am, you've been charged with 1 count of obstructing an officer, 3 drug-related offenses, and 1 count of use or possession of drug-related object. I'm denying bond on the 3 drug-related offenses at this time. I've set bond on obstructing an officer at $2,000 and bond on the use or possession of a drug-related object at $1,500. I'm setting you a preliminary hearing date for March 31st at 8:30 in the morning. And I am setting you a bond hearing date for April 2nd. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
You do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No.
Okay, you're free to go back. Are you all right, Ms. Sharp?
Yes.
Hey, Ms. Sharp, excuse me, you've been charged with simple battery and criminal damage to property in the second degree. And the criminal damage to property in the second degree is being charged as a felony offense. I've set bond for both of these. Just so you know, it's an amount. So they're saying that the damage to this to these items, the PlayStation 4 and the dumbbell or whatever items that were supposedly damaged was at an amount that made it a felony. So you're gonna have a bond set at $5,000 for each of these offenses for a total bond of $10,000. I'm putting a stay away provision to stay away from Adolfo.
Adolfo de Gracia.
I'm sorry.
Adolfo de Gracia.
Yes. So do you believe you can post this bond, ma'am?
I'm not, this is my first time doing this, so I'm kind of confused on that. How did that go?
So you can contact the bonding company and the bonding company will charge you a fee, which is generally a percentage of the bond. So in this particular case, I don't know what that's going to be, but the bonding companies, they work with people, they will work with you, they may put you on a payment plan. The Sheriff's Department has a list of the companies that are authorized to write bonds. And so you would need to call each of them and tell them your circumstance, tell them the bond amount, and they'll tell you how much they're going to charge. Okay. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
You do qualify, ma'am, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me? I don't believe I told you, there's going to be a preliminary hearing date that's going to be set for March 31st at 8:30 in the morning. And so your lawyer will be able to tell you more about that, okay?
Yes, sir.
You have any questions?
No.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Your Honor, Ms. Smith and Ms. Todd will have to be sitting in the calendar. They're in a separate part.
Okay,
Separate. But we have Ms. Torres coming up.
okay.
Hello, Your Honor.
Good morning, or good afternoon. Ms. Torres, you've been charged with one count of violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act. And that's a felony. The bond is going to be set at $5,000 for that. You've also been charged with possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime. The bond is also going to be set at $5,000. And then possession of marijuana less than an ounce. Bond is set at $1,500. So that's a total bond of $11,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, man?
I'm not sure, but I'm gonna try.
Okay. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for March 31st at 8:30 in the morning. And it's gonna be over a Zoom hearing like we're having here today. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? Or you're gonna hire a lawyer or represent yourself?
No, if you can check if I qualify, that would be great.
You do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No, thank you so much.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
So is that all for the ladies? Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Are you Ms. Williams?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Ms. Williams, you've been charged with one count of reckless conduct. I've set the bond at $1,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes.
Okay. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for March 20th, but that date is gonna get waived upon your bonding out. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Can you see if I qualify?
You do qualify, Ms. Williams, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, ma'am?
And I just have one question. You said $1,000?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So are we gonna do Ms. Smith and Ms. Let's see, Ms. Smith and Ms. Todd last?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, then we'll get started with the men then.
How you doing, y'all? My name is Anthony Avery.
Good afternoon, sir. You've been charged with one count of driving a vehicle without a valid license. The bond is going to be set at $1,000 for that. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, I can. I tried last night, and the bondsman's saying that because I'm from Florida, that they don't want to post my bond. So I wanted to ask you, could you like R&R me? Can I sign myself out?
I can't do that, sir. This bond amount is one where they may just not want to deal with it because of the amount. It's a low amount. Do you have anyone here that can assist you with that?
I have the money. I have the money. And my girl, she has the money, and she been, you know, she been calling a couple bondsmen, but you know, they saying like they thinking like I want to go back to Florida, but it's only a driving with no license. I'm not going. I got a job here and I moved here, so I'm not going anymore.
So when you say you have the money, you're saying like you have the amount that the bonding company is asking for.
Not that whole not that I tried to give them like 225 last night, and they only wanted 175. I tried to give them 225. And
Okay.
I'm telling them like I do a leg monitor, I do whatever. Like I'm in the area, I have a job too, you know. And I don't want to sit here. I think it's unfair for me to sit here 45 days for a low amount of money for just driving. You know, no drugs, no nothing. I don't have no record here. And
Well, I do understand that. It's something that I can't. Well, let me put it this way. The only way that I could get an OR bond approved for you is that I would have to go through my chief, which is probably not going to take today. It's not going to get done today. So that's something that it is probably in your best interest to be able to bond yourself out as best as you can.
how can I do that, Your Honor? How can I do that? And the bondsmen, they're telling me they thinking I'm a flight risk. And
so every bondsman said they're not going to write a bond for you.
It's probably like 3 of them. I have to get back on the phone and get back in contact with my family to see what's going on and what they're saying right now.
I know some of the people that own the Free at Last bonding company, and I don't know what they're doing, but I just from casual conversations, their business is writing bonds. So I can't. All I can tell you is that the bonding company or the complete amount, or even if you have property. I mean, I don't know.
Meaning, like, what about like jewelry and all? What about jewelry? Like I have cash, but I ain't, you know, 1,300. Like I'm looking at a bond of my bond said 1,300. You just said 1,000.
Yes, the difference is the sheriff's office is required by law to add fees.
Okay.
To whatever bond I set. So because I don't know the exact, it's a number of different little portions. So they're the ones that add it all up to make the complete bond. So whatever is set, like this is the bond that's set by what's called schedule, meaning, like you said, you can bond out people with something like this. They don't have to come before a judge. They can bond out if they make the arrangements. So all I can do is to tell you that your best bet based upon what you told me, or your best option is to call these bonding companies.
Can I sign a fine bond, you know?
That's the thing that I'm telling you. The earliest that probably could happen would be Monday.
If I don't bond out, or if a bondsman can't get me out, could you have that in process for me?
So what I'll do is I'll send this information over to my chief for her consideration. And like I said, if you're still here on Monday, then maybe that's something that could be done.
Yes.
Okay. So the
Can I get a number, Your Honor?
I'm sorry.
Can I get a number to call? A number to call the people you.
Well, we'll know where you are if you're still there on Monday. So you don't have to call anybody.
Yes. It's
No, I do understand what you're saying, but I'll tell you, Mr. Ayler, had your license situation not been where it was, you wouldn't be before me.
yes. I was wrong with that one. It's just I don't I have the money to bond out, and I'm not going nowhere. Like I got a job here and I got my place here, and I just don't understand why a bondsman wouldn't want to come and get me. I understand it's low, but if I have to pay them $300, I give them $300. You know.
I would, until you've exhausted all your situations with your bondsman, I would not consider the situation to be lost or without hope. I don't know what they're saying. I understand what you're telling me, but I can't believe that they're not going to take your money.
That's what I'm thinking. So I'm like, why would they won't take the money? Why not take the money? I mean, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. So I'm just gonna have to, like I said, exhaust everything I can do and see if I can get up out of here. Hopefully I can.
Would you like me to
Still Monday, you can still put that process in Monday for me, though, Your Honor, if you.
Mr. Ayler, I told you I would. I'm trying to, like, everybody's waiting. Okay, so do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, say what?
Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir, but you do qualify, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any other questions for me, Mr. Ayler?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Yeah, but I don't talk to
Are you Mr. Allen?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Allen, your lawyer appeared earlier, your family hired a lawyer, and he appeared earlier. And so you have a bond that's gonna be set, and it's a total bond that's gonna be set at $6,000. He actually has already indicated that he's driving down to the jail to meet with you. So you have a bond set, your family is working on getting you bonded out. And because we've been waiting here, normally he would be standing here, but everything has been done. So your lawyer is going to come and speak to you, okay? All right, you're free to go back. He'll tell you everything, okay?
All right, thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
The mind black.
Mr. Black, you've been charged with one count of, it's written up as refund by fraud, but it's basically putting money on a card and recharging it. I'm setting as a felony. I'm setting the bond at $10,000 for that. It's going to be a forgery in the 3rd degree, and that charge is related to an allegation of placing, basically taking stocks from your employer. And the bond is set at $3,000. So you're going to have a total bond of $13,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
I'm not sure.
Okay. I'm setting a preliminary hearing date for March 31st at 8:30 in the morning, and that's going to be over Zoom hearing like we had here today. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
You do qualify, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
Could you tell me that total again, please?
$13,000.
Thank you.
Okay, you're free to go back. Tell me your name, sir.
Yeah, go.
Mr. Calhoun, you've been charged with one count of interference with government property. I've set the bond at $3,000 for that. I know that you're in custody, so I don't know if you have a bond on your other charges or not. But I'm going to set a preliminary hearing date for March 30th at 8:30 in the morning. And do you already have a lawyer?
Not a paid lawyer, but I have a public defender, Ms. Hill.
Hill. Okay. I'm going to make a notation that you have Ms. Hill as your attorney. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
Nah.
Okay, you're free to go back.
All right, thank you. Hello, sir. I'm Eric Capote.
Okay, sir, you've been charged with one count of simple battery. I set the bond at $3,000, and I put a stay away provision to stay away, I believe, from your sister. Is it Elia Capote?
Yes,
Okay, do you believe you can post this bond?
yes,
Okay. I'm setting a preliminary hearing date for March 30th, but that date is going to get waived upon your bonding out. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
yes, sir.
You do qualify, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, Mr. Capote?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you, sir.
What's your name, sir?
D.O.C. Carter.
Mr. Carter, you've been charged with 4 theft-related offenses. There's theft by shoplifting. The bond is going to be set at $2,000. Theft of lost or miscellaneous property. The bond is going to be set at $2,000. And then there's 2 financial transaction card theft related to possessing different people's cards. I'm setting the bond for each of those offenses at $20,000. So that's going to be a total bond of $44,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
No, ma'am. No, sir.
Would you like me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
You do qualify, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you.
All right.
Preliminary hearing date set for March 31st at 8:30 in the morning. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back. Have your name, sir?
Kenson Durston.
Sir, you've been charged with one count of driving under the influence of alcohol. The vehicle, I'm sorry, to the extent that it makes you a less safe driver. The bond is going to be set at $5,000 for that. You've also been charged with improper lane change and an open container violation, and the bond is set at $500 apiece. So that's a total bond of $6,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, sir.
We're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for March 30th, but that date is gonna get waived upon your bonding out. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I'll see if I qualify.
Okay. You do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No, sir.
We'll go back.
Good evening, Your Honor. Alexander John.
Is that last name Dunn, D-U-N-N?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you've been charged with one count of interference with government property. I've set the bond at $3,000. I understand that you're in custody. I don't know the circumstances of your other offense. But if you have a bond or you're capable of bonding out, this, you will be able to bond out on this charge. I'm setting a preliminary hearing date for March 30th at 8:30 in the morning. Who is your lawyer? Do you have a lawyer?
Got a paid lawyer, Quinn Jackson.
James Jackson?
Yes, sir.
You plan on hiring Mr. Jackson for this?
I'm using, public defender, sir, if I
Okay.
could.
Okay, you do qualify, Mr. Dunn, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Do you have any questions of me?
No, sir.
Hey, go back.
God bless you.
How you doing, sir? My name is Derek Hall.
Tell me your name, sir.
Derek Hall.
Mr. Hall, you've been charged with one count of, it's like they're trying to charge you with distribution of marijuana. I've set a bond for this. The bond is going to be set at $20,000. They've also charged you with use or possession of drug-related objects. Bond is going to be set at $1,500 for a total bond of $21,500. Do you believe you can post this bond, sir?
Yes.
Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
Did you fill out one of these forms, the attorney appointment forms?
Hey, Judge Gardner, it was set up separate, but you should have it.
Okay, let me check my email. I shut it all down when I start the Zoom.
Yeah, you should have it.
Okay. Okay. It hasn't come across. Mr. Hall, are you currently employed?
Yes, I work at Little John's on 85 on Riverdale.
Okay, but how much do you make?
I make $1,500 a month.
Okay, you do qualify, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for March 31st at 8:30 in the morning. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay, you're free to go back. Tell me your name, sir.
Jeff on how?
Okay. Mr. Howard, you've been charged with one count of possession of firearm by a convicted felon. I've set a bond at $20,000 for that. You've been charged with theft by receiving stolen property, being the gun. I've set the bond at $10,000 for that. You've been charged with carrying a concealed weapon without a license. The bond is set at $5,000. So that's a total bond of $35,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yep.
Okay. We're gonna have a preliminary hearing date that's gonna be set for March 31st. It's gonna be at 8:30 in the morning. It's gonna be over a Zoom hearing like we're having here today. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
You can see if I qualify.
How much do you make per month?
It ain't no certain amount. I own my own business.
Okay. I'm gonna find that you qualify. You want to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No, man, you say 35,000?
35,005. Yes, 35,000.
All right.
Okay, you're free to go back.
All right. James Jones.
Mr. Jones, you've been charged with a number of driving-related offenses. Driving on a suspended license, the bond is set at 1,500. What's this? Looks like the way that it's written, it's like knowingly driving a vehicle with a suspended license. Bond is set at $1,000. Driving a vehicle with an expired tag, the bond is set at 500. Having defective equipment on the vehicle, the bond is set at 500. And then improper turn or signal or turning without signaling, bond is set at 500. So that's a total bond of $4,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Can you see if I qualify?
Sure. You do qualify, Mr. Jones, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. That preliminary hearing date of March 30th is going to get waived upon your bonding out. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
Yes, sir. So I don't live in Georgia. I'm not from Georgia. I have a South Carolina license. I don't live in South Carolina either. I was on the way moving actually to my next permanent place of residency with my sister in California when I got pulled over in Georgia. I stopped for oil change and got pulled over here. She's working right now to get you bonded out and everything. And she has a question of getting a plane so that way I could continue moving with her. So I'm not out here homeless. But she's wondering if the suspended license will affect me getting a plane ticket or not.
It should not. Do you have an identification card or any kind of identification?
The next closest thing I have would be my social security card. Well, on my birth certificate, I think, something like that.
Do you have any other kind of picture ID?
No, sir. Well, a college ID, but that's about it.
Is it valid?
The college ID?
Yes.
It's from my freshman year it's from a college I transferred from, so it may or may not be.
Okay. The short answer to that question is that the airline is the ones that will know exactly. I don't work for the airline, and honestly, I haven't flown in a long time, and I've always had ID, so I don't necessarily have the best information for you.
I do have another question, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
What would I have to do to get my license unsuspended?
Let me see. It doesn't list the reason for the suspension. A license can be suspended for a number of different reasons: failure to pay child support, failure to appear for a court hearing, like not meeting some obligation. I mean, it's a lot of reasons that a license can be suspended. Have you had any court appearances that you didn't appear to?
Traffic court, but I try to be able to play it online, but that's about it.
That's probably the reason. Like if you don't show up at traffic court, your license is going to get suspended. Because honestly, that's the only way they know they can bring you back.
Okay, the last question I have is, with me not being from the state of Georgia or not having any residency on this side of the country, or this side of the country, would it affect me being able to be bonded out?
That's what the first gentleman was saying as it relates to the bonding company. I've never had that as an experience in 20 years of practicing law. Now, if you have a history of skipping out on bonds and stuff like that, they may not see you at an appropriate risk.
Okay.
Because the bonding company will be on the hook for the full amount if you disappear.
Okay. That's all I have.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
Tell me your name.
Jason London, Your Honor. Good morning.
Good morning. Mr. Lundy, you've been charged with 1 count of robbery by snatching and 1 count of criminal trespass. The bond is going to be denied at this point on the robbery by snatching. I'm going to set a preliminary hearing date for March 31st at 8:30 in the morning. I'm going to also set a bond hearing date for April 2nd. Would you like for me to, well, you're going to have a $2,500 bond set on the criminal trespass. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? Uh-oh, looks like it froze. Okay, you're there, Mr. Lundy. Where did I lose you?
You were saying that you were gonna set me a bond for the charges.
On the criminal trespass, you're gonna have a $2,500 bond. But the bond is being denied on the robbery by snatching charge.
And I don't even know what the charge is. A warrant that somebody say that I done, and I don't even know what it's about or who or what. I'm just being.
It says on August 6th of 2020
Yes.
that you asked a Tamala Fuller
Yes.
to take you somewhere, and she said no, and that you took her key and took her car. A 2019 Hyundai Accent.
Yes.
That's the allegation.
Yeah, Tamala Fuller is my significant other.
Okay.
So she is my significant other, but I don't know anything about this warrant. I didn't know anything about the charge. We separated, but I don't know anything about this. So basically this is a domestic warrant. So this something, and meaning if you saying that robbery by snatch, that I took a car, never was incarcerated for a car, never been, pulled over or never, nothing. I don't know nothing about this. So how, and I work and how, this something, basically this is a domestic something. Hey, you out of my way now, since you're moving on. So I don't know nothing about this, Your Honor.
Well, what I could do, Mr. Lundy, is I can appoint a lawyer to represent you, and they can speak to the district attorney's office about this.
Yes, but what get me going is you saying I got to wait another whole 45 days, meaning I work and I don't want to lose my job. I work for Dean Electric. I don't want to lose my job.
I understand that. You don't have to wait until then. Those are the next dates that are set up.
But you just said I don't have a bond.
Right, because of the charge and the allegation. So I take everything in here as being 100% true, and I take what you're telling me as being 100% true. That's why this isn't a trial as to who's telling the truth or not. The appointing of a lawyer is something that can help you get this thing resolved. And what I hear you saying is that this is like my ex-girlfriend told the police a lie, and that led to me having this felony warrant. That could be 100% true. And the lawyer is the person that can work that out. I can't. So for example, there are people here that are charged with serious offenses that they're gonna ultimately one day be found not guilty, potentially. I don't know, but I can't take it as their, that it could not absolutely be true, or it could not absolutely be a lie. I have to try to kind of split the baby, so to speak. So if the allegation in this is true, this is something that is going to have to get worked out. Meaning, you tell me, Judge Gardner, I don't know what's going on. She's just making this up, but it's 100% true. You bond out and you say, well, the way that I deal with this is I get rid of her and I don't have a witness anymore for what I know I did. I don't know. So I got to take it as that may be true. And I got to take it as what you're telling me could be true. That's why I'd say, look, I can appoint you a lawyer so the lawyer can cut through this.
Yes, sir. But we, Judge Gardner, not meaning to cut you off. We're not speaking upon if the allegation is true or false. What we're speaking upon is the charges pertaining bond situation for me to get out to be able to address this matter with a paid lawyer, get to work and speak with someone. What get me is, and I just been listening in your courtroom this morning to where the charges that I've been hearing you've been opposing bonds for, and then pertaining to this a warrant, he say, she say. And now I'm being denied. You gave me a bond for criminal trespass, but not for robbery by snatch, because someone said I took a car. If I took a car, that means I would have been pulled over for driving no license, because I don't have a license. It would have been a theft by taking or theft by receiving or similar into that form of action. We ain't talking about the charge. We're talking about the bond. The bond for the bond to be set for me to address the matter, sir.
And setting a bond is related to the charge. I've been setting bonds for stuff that ordinarily people wouldn't get a bond for, because things are moving so fast that if it's a problem, it'll get taken care of like the next week. They'll be back in court the next week, right? But because of the COVID stuff, everything is pushed out. So that's where the lawyer becomes the person that can help with this. So the DA's office, so because this is what happens, just so you understand, Mr. Lundy, even on battery cases, right?
Yes, sir.
People get out of jail, they start calling the person. Person started calling the DA's office. DA's office started calling me. I don't know you, I don't know her, I don't know what is going on, but I do know that based upon this allegation, if you did this, you're not a good candidate for bond, okay?
Yes, sir.
So that's where I have to look at it from that perspective. Also looking at it from a perspective that you could be 100% innocent of this, right? But because it involves an allegation involving another person, meaning this person says, hey, this guy did this to me, right? If you did do this to her, you are not a good candidate for a bond.
You keep saying, if I done it, basically I'm not a good candidate. So I'm telling you that I didn't do it. So basically saying, the court saying that I don't have no law in my favor, meaning someone could just identically pick me and say, accuse me or something. I got to sit 45 days, no bond, no man.
Okay.
No,
so the first appearance, you notice there's not a lawyer, there's not a prosecutor, there's not a defense lawyer here, right?
correct, sir.
So we're not here to decide whether you're guilty or innocent. We're here for me to make a determination as to whether you are a good candidate for bond. And one of the things that I have to pay attention to is that you could have done this, right? Because it involves another person. This is not the stage for me to make the determination that she's a liar, you're innocent, you're a liar, she's innocent, right? I can't do that now because I don't have the information before me.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna let you go, and I don't want to be a peer, sir, because I just heard you a person two two persons to go before me with him and his sister, and you just post the bond, and that's a victim in that case. So I'm similar. I know I'm similar in like this is a warrant that's he say she say, but you just posted a bond to someone similarity to a guy to where he just actually you just told him to say your bond at 3,000 for you and your sister, and he like, yeah, I can stay away from her. Yeah, I can pose that bond, and I'm that's a victim there.
Yeah, let me tell you why. He's charged with a misdemeanor, which is a less offense. He's automatically entitled to bond. If I wanted to keep him here, I couldn't keep him here. I've had people where it's like, oh my God, I wish I could keep this person in jail, but I can't.
I'm just hearing what you said. If it's a victim, you just said it's out your mouth.
Listen. Okay. So listen, even if I wanted to keep him here, I could not, because by law, misdemeanors have to have a bond set. Have to. He got in an argument with his sister. That's why it's $3,000. I've had misdemeanors, I've set the bond at $15,000. Same charge, because what they did was different. Okay? So I have to look at what they said happened. In this situation, if the allegation was robbery, meaning he picked up the keys and walked out and dropped the keys and left, that's technically a robbery.
That's step I take.
Okay, all right. I'll put my law degree up against your law degree any day, but it can be charged by robbery just because they choose to charge it the way they choose to charge it.
That's right, that's what you just saying. They choose to charge it the way they choose to charge it. And that's the reason now I gotta probably lose my job, that I'm in the union, trying to make a life better for myself, to where I'm in here suffering for somebody else choose that I don't want to deal with no more.
I'm sorry, Mr. Lundy.
I know, it's everything sorry. Yes, sir, but you'll see, can I be appointed a lawyer, sir?
You qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any other questions for me, Mr. Lundy?
No, sir. You have a blessed day, sir.
You too. What's the last name, sir?
McNeil.
You've been charged with interference with government property. I'm setting the bond at $3,000. I understand that you're currently in custody. I don't know the circumstances of your other offense, whether you have bond or not, but you will be able to bond out if you have a bond in your other charge. Do you have a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Who's the lawyer?
Titus Nichols.
I'm sorry?
Titus Nichols.
Okay. Are you gonna hire Mr. Nichols for this?
No, sir, I would like a public defender.
Okay. You do qualify, Mr. McMillian. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for March 30th at 8:30 in the morning. Do you have any questions for me, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back. Tell me your name, sir.
Steve Nelson.
Mr. Nelson, you've been charged with a number of traffic offenses and 2 drug-related offenses. Okay,
go ahead.
I'm setting a bond for all of these. There's an improper lane change. The bond is set at $500. There's a driving a vehicle without a valid driver's license. The bond is set at $1,000. Possession of marijuana less than an ounce, which is a misdemeanor. The bond is set at $1,500. And the allegation is that there was a substance in your sock that field tested positive for methamphetamine.
Can I say something on that, sir?
Give me 1 second, I'll let you speak. So I set the bond at $5,000 for that. And then there's a drug-related objects charge, which is related to what is alleged to be some type of pipe, purple pipe. And the bond is set at $1,500. Now tell me what you wanted to say.
Yes, they didn't, only thing they found in my sock was marijuana. And the marijuana pipe, that's it. They was trying to tell me that it was a crack pipe, but it was a marijuana pipe. And I tried to tell them it was a marijuana pipe. And the substance the other substance they said they found in my sock, they did not find no other substance on me. They had some lady pulled it from the carpet of my car and they field tested, said it came back positive. They didn't find nothing else on me.
So we're sort of in a situation like with Mr. Lundy. I have to take what's in the warrant as being true. Because
Right.
it's not the time to make that determination. If it's false, that charge is going to get dismissed or dropped or go away. My job is to set a bond for the offenses I can set bond so you can move on.
Okay.
I actually fight the charge, okay? So you're going to have a total bond of $9,500. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Not right now.
Okay. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, please.
You do qualify, Mr. Nelson, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you.
Thank you.
Because the drug charge is a felony charge, you're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for March 31st at 8:30 in the morning, and that'll be over Zoom hearing like we're having here today.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions for me, Mr. Nelson?
No, no, sir.
You're free to go back.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. Tell me your name, sir.
Jason Oswald.
Okay, you've been charged with one count of violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act and one count of loitering or prowling. I've dismissed the loitering or prowling charge because the warrant doesn't make out the factual allegations for that. But you've been charged with driving or having marijuana more than an ounce in your possession, which is a felony. I've set the bond at $5,000 for that. Do you believe you can post that bond?
I can try, Your Honor.
Okay. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, Your Honor.
You do qualify, sir. So I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for March 31st at 8:30 in the morning. Do you have any questions of me?
Yes, I have two questions.
Yes.
About the ounce. How does that work? An ounce is 20.
30, it's about, no, it's 28 grams, I believe.
He told me that it was 16 grams, so.
The way that he's written it is that the vehicle, in the vehicle, it says they uncovered over 1 ounce of marijuana. So they swear to this, that it's over 1 ounce of marijuana. And so that's what I rely upon. I can't, I don't have the marijuana here where I can do an independent test on it to make a determination as to whether it's over an ounce or under an ounce. The officer said it's over an ounce, so that makes it a felony. The next stage as you move on is where the evidence gets tested and weighed and that kind of thing as to whether it's a felony or a misdemeanor. But at this point, it's going to remain a felony offense.
And Your Honor, my other question is, I just received a scholarship for boxing. And I'm really concerned that I won't be able to continue to my classes and everything else with that.
And that's something that I don't know anything about. What I would encourage you to do is contact the bonding companies here. Some of them will put you on a payment plan. They'll work with you. They'll do all kinds of things. Their business is getting people out of jail. So at this point, bond is going to be set at $5,000, and I hope you won't lose your scholarship. But I would encourage you to stay away from anything that could get you locked up if you really want to keep that scholarship.
And my other question, Your Honor, is my first offenders, how does that come into play?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
I'm like one of my first offense.
Okay, so that's something that you'll have to talk to the lawyer about, but generally, if you've never had a conviction, and the judge allows it and the prosecutor agrees to, you can serve anything under a first offense or first offender punishment. Okay, any other questions?
No.
Okay, free to go back.
Hey, how you doing, Judge? My name is Larry Pittman.
How you doing, Mr. Pittman?
I'll do better.
Okay. You have a number of offenses, Mr. Pittman. I've set bond on all of these. The first one, having a motor vehicle, looks like without a valid. What's that?
Valid insurance?
No, suspended registration. Bond is set at $500 for that. Use or possession of drug-related objects, that's a misdemeanor. Bond is set at $1,500. Possession of marijuana less than an ounce. Bond is set at $1,500. Violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act. Bond is set at $5,000. And possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime, the bond is also set at $5,000. So that's going to be a total bond of $13,500. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes.
Okay. You plan on
How much again?
here?
I'm sorry, I was asking how much it was again. 13?
13,500.
13,500.
Okay. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Say that one more time, you're breaking up.
Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes. I ain't gonna lie, I'm just saying yes, and I don't really know. Like, so could you explain to me?
So, you do qualify for the appointment of a lawyer, meaning that I provide, the state provides a lawyer to you. You can hire your own lawyer, or you can represent yourself.
Okay, you can see if I qualify.
You do qualify, Mr. Pittman. Because of the felony charge, you're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for March 31st.
And that's because of the firearm, right?
It's the firearm, and they charge you with a felony related to, says 2 multicolored plastic bags labeled Stony Patch, which they believe to be marijuana gummies. I don't know if it is or it isn't, but that is a felony. Okay.
Okay.
And the gun, the possession of a gun during the commission of possession of a gun during the commission of a crime is also a felony. Okay, so you have 2 felony charges. So it's going to be March 31st, 8:30 in the morning, and it's going to be over Zoom hearing like we're having here today. Any other questions?
Yes, sir. Once I'm paid that, was it 13,500? Everything will be processed for me to get out today/tonight, right? I mean tonight/tomorrow, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. That's it.
You're welcome.
Hey, how you doing, John? My name is Benny.
I'm sorry?
My name is Benny Riggins.
Mr. Riggins, you've been charged with 1 count of criminal damage to property. I've set the bond at $1,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes.
And I'm sorry, it's criminal trespass, damage to property. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for March 30th at 8:30 in the morning. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Would I need one if they're not gonna testify against me, because I only broke stuff that belonged to me and it was my property, on my property. So would I need that if she's not gonna testify against me?
I really can't advise you either one way or another. If you want me to appoint a lawyer, you do qualify for the appointment of lawyer, and that's a question that is suited for your lawyer to answer.
Let's see if I qualify. I'll take it.
You do qualify, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you.
All right.
Do you have any questions of me, Mr. Riggins?
Let's see.
Okay, you're free to go back.
What, bond amount again, please, sir?
$1,000. Give your name, sir?
Nars Roby.
Mr. Roby, you've been charged with 2 drug-related offenses, possession of firearm by a convicted felon, use or possession of drug-related object, and possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime. I'm gonna deny the bond at this point on the felony offenses. I'm gonna set a bond of $1,500 on the use or possession of a drug-related object. I'm setting a preliminary hearing date for March 31st at 30 in the morning. And I'm also setting a bond hearing date for April 2nd.
Well, let me see quickly. Why was my bond denied, bro?
I denied the other person's bond too that was in this situation. Because this is involving a SWAT situation, serving a bond on a house, and there's drugs that are involved. That's why I'm denying it right now, because based upon these circumstances, there's had to be some reason they were there.
They had a search. I can't hear you, sir.
There was a search warrant, yes.
They had a search warrant, but Brookhaven had a search warrant, not Clayton County. So how did that end up in Clayton County? When I was sleeping in the driveway.
That's the reason I denied it, Mr. Roby. It could be something totally innocent. I can appoint a lawyer to represent you, and the lawyer can get to the bottom of this. If this was like you were just innocently there in the driveway, that's something that can be worked out.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want me to see if you qualify?
Yes.
You know, lawyer?
Yes.
You do qualify. So I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any other questions of me?
No.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. My name is Russell Taylor.
Mr. Taylor, you've been charged with 5 offenses. An open container violation, the bond is set at $500. Use or possession of drug-related objects, the bond is set at $1,500. Possession of marijuana less than an ounce, the bond is set at $1,500. And there's a drug charge, the bond is set at $5,000. And possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime, the bond is set at $5,000. So that's going to be a total bond of $18,500. Do you believe you can post that bond?
I'm gonna try, Your Honor.
Okay. Because of the felony charges, you're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for March 31st at 8:30 in the morning. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, please, Your Honor.
You do qualify, Mr. Taylor. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
Just the bail part, you said it was 18,000 in total?
It's $18,500. There's going to be fees added that the sheriff's department has to add by law.
Okay.
So it's going to be a little bit more, but they'll tell you the total amount.
Okay, and it's usually, if I do a bondsman, you said usually a percentage of that, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's it.
You're free to go back.
Thank you.
Yeah. Give me your name, sir.
Justin Timms.
Mr. Timms, you've been charged with 1 count of simple battery and 1 count of simple assault. I've set the bond on the simple battery at $5,000 and the bond on the simple assault at $3,000 for a total bond of $8,000. I've also put stay away provisions in the bond to stay away from Ashley Snodgrass, and it looks like Orlam Snodgrass. So do you believe you can post this bond, sir?
I'm gonna try.
Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, please.
Are you currently employed, Mr. Timms?
Yes, I am.
Approximately how much do you make per month?
About like 2,400.
Okay, you do qualify. So I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back. What's your name, sir?
Brandon Turner.
Mr. Turner, you've been charged with one count of contempt of court. And that being over a Shamtrisha Smith's place or house when you were ordered by the court not to go back to that location.
Yes, but she filled out an affidavit saying that she still want to contact with us since we have a child together. So I was just transporting her from work, and that's really all that came down to. I was never at the address.
She signed an affidavit with who?
She signed an affidavit saying that she still wanted contact with me because of our child.
And did a judge tell you that you could have contact with her?
When I was in court, they were like that she wanted the charges dropped on me. So she filled out a whole affidavit where she wants contact. She just got upset. We had a disagreement, and she just called the police out of anger. So it's like she's already filled out an affidavit that she wants contact. Now she's going back saying she don't want contact. So it's like she just playing around with fire now.
Well, no, Mr. Turner, you're the one that's playing around with fire, because as a judge, if I direct you to do something, until I tell you to do different, I expect that you're going to follow what I order. I don't really care.
Yeah, I understand, but the only reason I had any contact with her is because of my child. So,
Mr. Turner, so, and again, and I have to tell people, I was a criminal defense lawyer for 20 years. And I would tell my clients all the time, because they've been in these situations where the girlfriend gets mad because you went to the strip club. And then she said that you did something that you didn't do. Or she says to you, hey, it's okay for you to be with me. But then that's what she's holding over your head.
That's exactly what she's doing.
But from the court's perspective,
I don't around her.
Not until a judge has told you that you can go back around her.
Okay, well, I was babysitting my daughter while she was at work. Okay, I had to go pick her up from work and take her child back.
So Mr. Turner, you're still not hearing me.
Okay.
So what is it that I'm telling you?
You basically said until a judge gives me permission to be around her, don't have contact with her. But it didn't say anything about my child.
Who is the judge that your case is appearing before?
I'm not sure. It was last year when I went to court on the charges. I'm not sure. And I have a paid lawyer, Lee Sexton. I talked to him yesterday, but I didn't think I was going to be going to jail, so I haven't talked to him since.
I know Mr. Sexton well. He is a really good lawyer.
Thank you. But he's my paid lawyer, so whatever we decide on, make sure I call him to let him know what's going on.
Well, Mr. Turner, the reason I'm having this conversation with you is because violation of a contempt order is a no bond situation. It's not a you get a bond and you get to go back out and do whatever you want to do. And I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, I was only trying to really watch my daughter. So I have no one to watch her while she's at work. So,
Mr. Turner, you have a lawyer, Mr. Sexton, who is a very good lawyer.
yes, sir.
Why didn't this condition get changed? Because if you're telling me that she signed an affidavit or she said it was okay, only thing you had to do was get a judge to sign off on it and you're fine.
Right, but she's been working and she hasn't had time to go down and get anything to sign. Which she's filled out the affidavit saying that she wanted contact, but we haven't had any date on when we're supposed to speak with any DA or lawyer or anybody. So I haven't known, but I've let my lawyer know that I still need to contact with her in specifics for my child.
Okay, what I'm gonna do, Mr. Turner, right now, I'm gonna keep this no bond condition. If you will allow me, I will contact your lawyer, Mr. Sexton, and I will see if this condition has been changed. If it's been changed, then I'll change this order and you will get out. Okay?
Well, if she's filled out the affidavit and turned it in, that's proof right there that she wanted contact. She just got upset one day and just, decided to go against me. But
I do understand what you're saying. And just so you understand from the court's perspective, a couple things are going on. One, that you don't understand that a judge has control over your life to the point that you can be sitting in jail with what you're telling me is something where the mother of your child has decided to change her mind, right? And instead of things being done in the right way, they were done in the way that you and her saw fit. And now she's in a position where you are now in custody with no bond. And so, like I said, I've known Mr. Sexton for more than 20 years. And if this condition has been changed, I have no problem in setting a bond for you. But if this condition has not been changed, it's gonna have to stay until you're gonna have to sit until this gets changed. Because the first thing that's gonna happen is if she's the person that you say she is, she's gonna start calling the solicitor's office or the DA's office saying that Mr. Turner is out here and I don't want him out here. And the first thing that my boss is gonna look at me and say, why did you let this guy back out when he violated this order? And if I don't have anything in my hand that shows that this order has been lifted, I'm basically putting myself out on the street. Because my job is not to do that. So I'm not gonna preach, but what I'll do is I'll contact Mr. Sexton. Do you know what judge your case is before?
I forgot the judge.
Okay. Well, we'll find out. I'm gonna set a preliminary hearing date right now, just so it's set for March 31st. And as I said before, if this has been lifted, this will change and you will get out. If it hasn't, Mr. Sexton is gonna have to file a motion on your behalf. Okay?
Okay.
You go back.
I gotta get on my phone. How you doing, Judge?
How are you? Tell me your name, sir.
Oh, yeah, Sean Ward.
Mr. Ward, you've been charged with arson in the first degree. Do you want me to tell you the allegation?
Yes, sir, because I've
Okay.
been here the past 3 days.
So the allegation is that on February 8th of this year, at 566 West Sherwood Drive, that you were seen setting a fire at the back of this residence, and you were witnessed jumping over the fence. And it says after the fire was set, and it said the fire was set using gasoline.
Wow. I was in here February 8th.
Okay.
Wow.
The bond is going to be denied at this point. I'm going to set a preliminary hearing date for March 31st at 8:30 in the morning. I'm going to set a bond hearing date for April 2nd at 8:30 in the morning. Did you fill out a form? Did you fill out a form for the attorney?
Hey, Judge Gardner,
Yes.
he was one of the ones that came down late. We have his form, but we'll send it up for you, okay?
Okay. Mr. Ward, are you currently employed?
Yes,
Approximately how much do you make per month?
like 2,500.
So you do qualify for the appointment of a lawyer if you want me to appoint a lawyer. Do you want me to appoint a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have any questions of me, Mr. Ward?
No, and you said my court date, the next court date would be when, sir?
It's currently set for March 31st, but that doesn't mean that has to be your next date. Because if I hear you say that you have an alibi and you were someplace else when this was supposedly set,
Will I do?
that's something your lawyer can share with the district attorney's office.
Okay.
And you may get the charges dismissed. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I understand. Okay.
All right. Any other questions?
No.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Good afternoon, Judge Keanu Williams.
Mr. Williams, you've been charged with 1 count of criminal damage to property in the 2nd degree and 1 count of battery.
Battery. I was charged. They told me my 2 charges was divided. Domestic violence and destroyed property. And
Well,
then, excuse me.
It's written up as battery family violence.
But she said, my girlfriend, she just got mad and called, but she said she was gonna try to call down here today and let them know that it was nothing that serious.
Well, I'll tell you this, that happens probably 100 times a day. Once you call the police, you kind of take it out of your hands. And she kind of take it out of her hands. And the thing that I tell people all the time, which they don't really get, is if this was something that was not that serious, there was someone getting stabbed, someone getting beat, someone, listen to me, please, sir.
Yes, sir.
Someone that actually needed that officer that was dealing with this situation that apparently wasn't as bad. Okay.
Okay, sir, but I do like what I'm saying is all I need is bond, sir. I promise you won't see me no more.
You do have a bond. I set bond at $5,000 for each of these offenses. So it's going to be a total bond of $10,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes.
Okay. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I have a lawyer, but I have to call him. His name is Curtis. I don't know his name.
Curtis, is it Curtis Hubbard?
Yes.
Okay.
So with that, I have to pay 15% of the, so my bond is 10,000 literally.
There's gonna be a fee that's added by the sheriff's department. I don't know exactly what that's gonna be, but they have to add it by law. I would contact the different bonding companies and see how much they would charge you, because I don't work for them, so I don't know what each individual bonding company would charge.
Okay, when you go through a bonding company, so I have to pay 10,000 just to get out. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, like, if they put a fee, so like, right now, I have to pay 10,000 just to get out.
If you paid it out of your pocket, yes. If you go through a bonding company, they charge you a fee, and that fee is generally based upon a percentage of the bond. Anything else, Mr. Williams?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Good afternoon, Judge. My name is Shamarion Felix.
I'm sorry, what was the last name, sir?
Felix.
Okay. So, Mr. Felix, you understand what you're charged with, correct? I can't set bond for these offenses at this stage. I'm gonna set a preliminary hearing date for March 31st, and I'm gonna set a bond hearing date for April 2nd. Do you plan to hire your own lawyer?
No, sir.
Okay. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
You do qualify, Mr. Felix. So I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
Yes, sir. Will my lawyer come and see me? Like, will it stop by? Talk to me?
Right now, I don't know how they're doing visits, but they should be able to come by. This is going to get sent to the Clayton County Public Defender's Office. And so that will be the law firm that'll represent you unless there is a conflict of interest. And in that sense, there will be a private lawyer that takes appointed cases that will represent you.
Okay. Am I looking at life?
Right now, the maximum you're looking at is life without parole. Okay. Any other questions?
No, sir.
All right, you're free to go back. What's your name, sir?
McGurk, William.
Sir, you've been charged with possession of cocaine, theft by receiving stolen property, obstructing an officer, and possession of marijuana less than an ounce. Place the bond on all of these offenses. You're going to have a bond for $5,000 for the possession of cocaine, $2,000 for the theft by receiving stolen property, $3,000 for the obstructing an officer charge, and $1,500 for the possession of marijuana less than an ounce. And that's going to be a total bond of $11,500. Do you believe?
I ain't worried about none of that, Judge. Only thing I'll be worried about is I want a lie detector's test about the charge or the cocaine charge or whatever it is, because I was not home at the time, you know, the stuff was put in my room.
Okay.
You know, I was set up by this female that just got out of jail.
Okay. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I will qualify for appointment of a lawyer because, you know, I draw SSI.
Okay.
And I want to know about I want to really know about thing I go through to prove that I am innocent of the drug charges.
You do qualify, Mr. McGirt, and that's something that your lawyer will be able to tell you after
Yeah, but
looking at.
you are the judge. You the one that can recommend the lie detector test.
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. McGirt?
It's just, you know, I got to prove myself innocent. How am I gonna prove myself innocent if I cannot have a lie detector test?
Your lawyer will be able to tell you that, Mr. McGirt.
And a judge is supposed to be telling me that, because I've done it before.
So you will believe me when I tell you your lawyer. You won't believe me when I tell you that your lawyer will be the person that will help you, but you'll believe me if I tell you about a lie detector test.
Yes, sir. What am I supposed to do? Some way I can prove myself innocent. A lawyer can't prove me innocent. You can't prove me innocent.
Anything else, Mr. McGirt? The lie
Yes, I won't know that.
lie detector is going to be a dry hole.
Why is it a dry hole?
If you want to keep talking about this lie detector test, we don't really have anything else to talk about. I've given you my answer.
Okay, Judge Gardner, he's done.
Thank you.
See, he's telling me I'm done. I'm not done.
You're done, Mr. McGirt, unless you have anything else.
I don't say I can prove myself innocent. I don't have to do all this. You don't have to do all this. You don't have to do all this.
What's your name, sir?
My name is Bernard. I'm on Andrew, sir. Judge.
Tell me your last name, sir.
Andrews, Andrews.
Okay. How did I miss you, Mr. Andrews? Huh. Okay, I have your paperwork. Sir, you've been charged with 1 count of simple battery. I've set the bond at $5,000, and I've placed a stay away provision to stay away from, it looks like, Louis, and I'm butchering the name. Do you believe you can post this bond, sir?
No, I can't, sir, honestly, and I'm gonna tell you a short, brief, what's going on with that situation. I was at the airport, standing outside, and I'm sitting there, you know, I got my own situations going on. And this African man he had a face mask on. He walked by me like 2-3 times, like at least twice. Then he came back reaching in his jacket. I'm like, yo, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? So I'm like, what? So he walked off slowly, brought the police back and said I spit in his face. I'm from the hood. If I spit in your face, I'm gonna fight you, I'm gonna run away.
I understand that, okay?
I did not spit in his face.
So at this stage, I can't try your case, meaning this is the first hearing where I give you court dates and give you a lawyer so that you can fight your case.
They didn't even let me even say my statement. I didn't even have nothing to say about it when the police came. They just put me in handcuffs right away.
Which is something that I can appoint a lawyer to help you fight that. Okay? That's what this stage is about. So I use this as an analogy I use all the time. It's like if you went to the doctor, the stage that we're at now is you just walked in the doctor's office, you hadn't even signed your name down to let them know that you're there. So when you walk into the doctor's office, you can't say, what's wrong with me, doc? Because you ain't seen nobody. Does that make sense to you? So I can appoint a lawyer so you can actually get to the point of seeing a doctor and getting this taken care of.
You know, I can handle it myself. You know, I appreciate it, but if you help me get a lawyer, that'd be helpful because I ain't got no money like that, honestly.
Okay. Are you currently employed?
For me,
Yes, sir.
yeah, I'm just really, I'm homeless, but I keep myself up. You know what I mean? I keep myself clean. I try to keep up myself day to day.
Okay. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have an address?
Yeah,
What's your address?
1456 South Border, Atlanta, Georgia, 30310.
And that was WARNER? You said South Warner?
South Gordon.
Okay. South Gordon. And what was the zip code?
30310.
Okay. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date of March 30th. That date will get waived upon your bonding out. I'm appointing a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
I mean, so I gotta wait till March?
So the lawyer, if what you've told me is true, and you don't have any money to bond yourself out, the lawyer will probably get you out relatively quickly by going through the solicitor's office.
So I gotta wait 2 months?
No, sir. Because the lawyer can get it done as soon as the lawyer gets it done, which could be in a couple days, it could be 3 months. I don't know. Okay?
Well, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna try to, you know, I hate to say he lying, but I got a family to be out there for.
Well, I mean,
you
you just said I'm lying. So I can't make you believe me. I can only give you the information and you can do with it what you choose. Okay? Any other questions, Mr. Andrews?
You said my bond 5,000?
Yes, sir.
In this state, 'cause I'm from Florida, do they do 10% of him?
The bonding company does a percentage and it's roughly around that.
All right.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
Hey, Judge Gardner,
Yes.
for the two individuals that's gonna need the Spanish interpreter, do you have someone online or are we gonna come back to them tomorrow?
Let me see. Let me, Jesus.
Judge Gardner also has some inmates up here in Marion Holding too for medical.
Okay. Hold on 1 second. Let me see. I'm gonna call Miss. I'm sorry. I'm gonna call Miss Mary real quick.
Okay, all right, Judge.
Okay, I'm back. Miss Mary is going to try to get Deja on the phone for the two Spanish-speaking individuals. Is it possible for us to deal with the people that are in medical?
Hey, Judge Gardner,
Yes.
upon speaking with the two Spanish individuals, from my understanding, they say they do speak enough English to understand what you're saying. Do you want them to still have the interpreter, or you want to try to go forward with them?
Let me try to go forward with them. It's Mr. Carrero and is it Torres Salazar?
Yes, sir. They hear you. They're present.
Okay. Bring me Mr. Carrero.
Carrero.
Good afternoon. Mr. Carrero, you've been charged with one count of theft by shoplifting. I'm going to set the bond at $2,000. Can you've been charged with theft by shoplifting? I'm going to set the bond at $2,000. Do you believe you can pay that?
Spell my last name because I don't think the right name.
C-A-R-R-E-R-O?
No, C-H-I-R-I-N-O-S, Chirinos, and the last name, Alvarado.
Okay, yes. Okay. You've been charged with two offenses. Simple battery.
Simple battery?
Yeah. Is your wife Miranda Cisneros?
No. Oh, it's for the other guy.
All right. Spell your last name again.
Chirinos, C-H-I-R-I-N-O-S.
I don't
First name is Elvin, E-L-V-I-N.
What is your understanding of your charges?
For no driver license. I already paid my bond.
Okay, let me speak to the deputy.
Hey, Judge Gardner?
Yes.
The correct spelling is C-H-R-R-I-N-O-S.
Okay, I have him as OTB on my calendar. So I don't even have bond paperwork for him.
Okay, so
he said he's posted his bond already, so he should be ready to go.
All right, so we're clear, Judge.
Okay. I thought he was saying T. All right, tell me your name, sir?
Gilberto Eduardo Torres Salazar. Salazar.
Okay. You've been charged with simple battery and criminal damage to property. I'm setting a bond at $5,000 apiece for a total bond of $10,000. I am asking you to stay away from Miranda Leslie Cisneros.
Okay.
Okay. Do you believe you can post a bond?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm setting a preliminary hearing date for March 30th, but that court date is going to go away once you bond out. Okay.
Okay.
And you will receive new information through the address that you give to the sheriff's department.
Mm-hmm.
Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer, representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
No, I'm gonna hire a lawyer.
Okay, then you're free to go back, Mr. Salazar.
All right, so I'll pay today and. Hey, Judge Gardner?
Yes.
The inmates in the other location, from my understanding, they're ready for your spiel.
Okay, before I let you.
Hang on one second, Judge.
Yes.
Have you gone to medical yet? This is Mary.
No, Mary, we were able to deal with the two. One of the individuals is OTB, and then they both said they understood English enough to be able to deal with it.
Okay, all right, good. So I'll let Deja know y'all don't need her.
Thank you, Miss Mary.
You're welcome.
I have a couple that I want to ask about. I have a Jose Carrero, C-A-R-R-E-R-O. Is he OTB?
No, Your Honor, he's up here.
Okay. Mr. Basin, is he up there also? He has a terroristic threat and disorderly conduct charge. I also have an Eddie Carter.
He's up here.
Okay. And is Mr. Gibson up there also?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, I'm ready then.
Oh, Your Honor, we're ready.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. This is your first appearance hearing before the Magistrate Court of Clayton County. My name is Brad Gardner, and I'm a judge in this court. I'm not here to conduct a trial of your case or to take a plea in your case. I am here to inform you of the charges that have been filed against you, to advise you of certain rights, to set bail on those offenses that I'm authorized to set bail, to schedule a preliminary hearing, and to determine whether you require the assistance of an attorney. You have the right to remain silent and say nothing, but should you give up this right, anything you say during this proceeding may be used against you if your case goes to trial. So please don't discuss the facts of your case. During this and all other proceedings, you have the following rights: the right to the presumption of innocence, the right to indictment by a grand jury for most felonies or by accusation for misdemeanors, the right to a speedy and public trial by jury, the right to see, hear, and question witnesses who are called to testify against you, the right to compel the attendance of witnesses to testify on your behalf, the right to testify on your own behalf or offer evidence in your own defense, the right to have an attorney represent you. If you cannot afford an attorney, one can be appointed to represent you if you qualify. Some of you will be allowed to post unrestricted bonds for your release from jail. These bonds may be cash, commercial, or property. If you post a cash bond, someone will deliver the full amount of the bond and fees in cash to the sheriff's office. The sheriff's office will hold the cash and return it at the end of the case. If you use a commercial bonding company, someone will have to pay a fee to the company for their service. The fee will not be returned. I don't know what fee will be charged, but is usually based upon the percentage of the bond. Finally, if you use property to post bond, the property will need to have an equity equal to 3 times the amount of the total bond. Some of you will have special conditions on your bond that prohibit you from contacting certain people or going to certain places. This special condition will be provided to you on a separate form. You will also be prohibited from contacting the victim while you are in jail. If you violate the court's order, your bond will be revoked and you could remain in jail until your trial. You could also receive additional felony charges. It is important to note that if someone is listed as a victim in your case, that person will not be allowed to post your bond. Some of you are charged with offenses for which this court is not authorized by law to set bail. In this event, a bond hearing will be scheduled before a judge of the Superior Court of Clayton County, and you will be informed of that date. If you are currently on active probation, this court is not authorized to set bond at this time. Whether bond is appropriate in your case will be reconsidered after your probation officer has had an opportunity to consider this new arrest. The purpose of a preliminary hearing is to determine whether there is sufficient evidence to support the allegations against you. The standard at this stage is very low. A judge determining whether a charge goes forward at this stage only has to determine that it is possible that the crime occurred. Everyone has the ability to waive their right to a preliminary hearing. However, you should speak to a lawyer first if you are unsure about whether it is appropriate to waive your preliminary hearing. If you post bond, your preliminary hearing is automatically waived. You will receive notice at the address you give of your next court date. Okay, I need everyone to raise their right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm that any testimony you make during this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm ready with however order you want to proceed.
My name is Eddie Carter.
Mr. Carter, you've been charged with 1 count of driving a vehicle on a suspended license and 1 count of use or possession of drug-related objects. The bond for both of these is going to be set at $1,500 for a total bond of $3,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
How much would be the bond, sir?
If you're asking how much you would pay out of pocket, that's the thing that I don't know if you're using a bonding company. The bonding company will tell you the fee that they will charge, but it's generally around 10% of the total bond. But each bonding company is different, so you would have to contact them and make your own arrangements.
So what was the charge again?
Driving on a suspended license and use or possession of drug-related objects. And they basically allege that there was a crack pipe in your pocket.
Is that felony?
It's a misdemeanor. These are 2 misdemeanor charges.
Okay, sir. All right. Could I be signed out on my own attendance?
No, sir, we don't do those bonds. So you're gonna have to go through a bonding company.
So it's one is 1,000, another one is 10,000, did you say?
No, sir, you have a total bond of $3,000, and it's gonna be a little bit added by the sheriff's department. They're required to do that by law. And so I don't know exactly what it's going to be, but it's gonna be a little bit more than $3,000.
Okay, and if there's a bonding company that's 10%, would that be 300?
Roughly, yes, sir. But again, you're gonna have to contact the bonding company because they'll tell you what they'll charge.
Okay.
We can just give you a ballpark.
Okay, I didn't get to make a call last night. Could I make a call to see if I could talk to my ex-wife or somebody?
Yes, sir. As soon as we're done with this proceeding, when we're done with everything, they will take you back down and the sheriff's department will allow you to use a phone, but it's gonna be on their terms. They're not gonna, can't go down there and say, the judge said I need to use the phone. They're gonna let you use the phone, okay?
This is not fun. I had my chance and I blew it, so here I am. The mercy of
You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date of March 30th. That's gonna get waived upon your bonding out. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, I don't have a job or anything.
Okay, you qualify, Mr. Carter. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have anything else, sir?
So you said if I don't bond out, I'll be here until March 30 next month?
Your lawyer will most likely on these charges be able to get your case resolved before that date ever comes up. Okay? Anything else?
I'm sad. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Oh,
Tell me your name, sir.
Rick Pereira.
Sir, you've been charged with 1 count of theft by shoplifting. The bond is set by schedule at $2,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Are you currently employed?
No, sir.
Okay, you do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date for March 30th, but that date will get waived upon your bonding out. And as I indicated again to the other gentleman, based upon these charges, your lawyer will most likely get this case resolved before that date ever comes up.
Okay.
Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back. Tell me your name, sir.
Nina A. Basin Jr., sir.
Sir, you've been charged with 1 count of terroristic threats or acts and 1 count of disorderly conduct. You're gonna have a total bond set at $6,500. Do you believe you can post that bond?
No, sir. My disability check ain't that much, sir. I get a disability check and I take medication, sir.
Okay.
And then one more thing, I'm out on a signature bond in Fulton County. I gotta go to court March the 9th. I gotta be out, sir, before March the 9th. There's a little disorderly conduct, so I'm gonna get it beat. Called mental health, sir.
Okay. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. And I'm making a notation that you got charges pending in Fulton County.
Okay. I'm gonna get them beat.
Okay, you're free to go back, Mr. Gibson. I'm sorry, Mr. Basin.
Mr. Gibson is next, Judgment.
Mr. Gibson, sir, you've been charged with 1 count of interference with government property. I'm setting the bond at $3,000. I know you're here in custody right now. So I don't know your situation in your other case, but if you have bond on the other case, you'll be able to bond out on this. Do you have a lawyer?
No, sir.
Okay. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir. I just filled the paperwork out this morning.
Okay, you do qualify, Mr. Gibson. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you.
Sir.
You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for March 30th.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions for me, sir?
Yes, sir. Can you tell me the allegation?
The allegation is that there was a, sorry, give me 1 second. That you are alleged to have removed the hinge from the top part of the cell door in cell 2112 in an attempt to make a shank.
So, okay, you saying this way, it's not no, I had to wait preliminary to fight the circumstances or anything due to the, for right now. Like, I was saying right now, I don't even know nothing about it. It was a so-called piece found in my mattress that in this jail is got shut down the day before, and they threw our stuff out the cell, and we just happened, they tell us to grab a mattress, and we had 10 minutes to make our beds up, and the next day that was found in my mattress.
So that's what you need to tell your lawyer so the lawyer can defend you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have any other questions for me, Mr. Gibson?
Sir, thank you.
Okay, you're free to go back, sir. Tell me your name, ma'am. Ma'am, you're charged with a number of drug-related offenses. You're also charged with obstructing an officer, disorderly conduct, and use or possession of a drug-related object. I'm setting a bond for all of these offenses. You're gonna have a total bond set at $18,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
I can't do anything because I didn't even do anything last night. I didn't have any drugs on me. When I went to the bathroom in a convenience store, the cop was outside the bathroom and tackled me down to the ground after I came out. And I didn't have no drugs on me. I had nothing. My property even says what I have on me in my property. I just have the clothes that I had on. I have no drugs on me, so I don't know why I have charges. I cannot do this anymore. Y'all have gotten ridiculous. I cannot stay here. This is wrong. This is false imprisonment. And I cannot do this. It costs way too much money for y'all to be doing this to me. Way too much. I have children. I have a grandson. And I didn't do anything wrong. And my whole body is so freaking sore right now from what they did to me last night. I didn't do nothing wrong. Please tell me you understand what I'm saying. Please.
Ma'am, I do understand what you're saying. I can appoint a lawyer to defend you.
No, you need a lawyer. I need you to wake up. Please. Wake up.
Okay, ma'am.
Nothing. I promise to you on God, man. Look, I did nothing wrong. Not looking to go back to stay in jail. I have no money. I have no husband. I have no nothing but men the way they are now. No nothing. I have nothing, sir. Nothing. I couldn't pay a lawyer if I wanted to.
Ma'am, do you want me to appoint a lawyer to represent you?
I want to go home. I want to go home.
Okay, ma'am, this is the last time I'm going to ask you. Do you want me to appoint a lawyer to represent you?
That's good, but can I go home today too?
If you post a bond, you can go home today.
What if I can't pay the bond? Then what will I have to do?
Let the lawyer help you, ma'am.
Yeah, so this is crazy. Y'all are ridiculous. What's going on here?
Ma'am, don't swear in court, okay? Don't swear in court. Are you done, Judge Gardner?
I'm done.
Go on.
Step this way, man.
Go home, please. We get on.
Step this way, man. Judge Gardner, we just got one more.
Okay.
One moment.
You muted Judge, mate, Judge Gardner. You muted Judge Gardner.
Thank you. Oh my God, this day couldn't get any weirder. Ma'am, you're charged with 1 count of trafficking marijuana and 1 count of possession of THC edibles. I'm setting a bond for both of these offenses. For the trafficking in marijuana, I'm setting a $30,000 bond. And for the violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act, the possession of the THC edibles, I'm setting a $10,000 bond for a total bond of $40,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
I can try, but I need my phone because I have to call. Because I don't stay here. But from what I'm told, the person that would have to post my bond would have to stay here. I stay in Alabama.
Okay. If you were told that from the sheriff's deputies, that's something that you can rely upon. Because they're the ones that deal with this. Or I don't know if it was a bonding company or what.
No, I don't know, but I'm saying, like, I'm from Alabama, so if I call my, I have to be able to, I don't have no number, I don't know numbers by heart. Can I call somebody from my state?
To post a bond or just to call them?
Post the bond.
They're gonna allow you to use the phone. And I know people will say, you know, that their numbers are in their phone and they don't know anybody's numbers. I don't know. I'm sorry.
I'm just trying to think, do I need somebody from Georgia? Because from what fellow inmates told me, they said the only way you can post a bond out of this place is from somebody that stay in Georgia. And
So,
if that, I need to get my family member that stay in Georgia, I need to get his number so I can have him and my brother get in contact with each other. Because my brother, we stay in Alabama, we don't stay here.
okay, I understand that. You stay in Alabama, you stay out of state. The bonding company is the people that will tell you whether they will write a bond for you or not, okay? As I would tell people all the time, the person that's next to you may not be able the person that has the best information on how for you to get out, okay? So you're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set, which is gonna be March 31st. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer?
I already have them. I mean, but I know my lawyer knows by heart. I always like, that's not like a number I just know by heart. I only used her a couple times. That was like years ago, you know?
So the reason I asked that question is that you do qualify for the appointment of a lawyer. If you want me to appoint a lawyer, I will appoint a lawyer.
They have to be from here?
The lawyer will be from here. Yes, ma'am.
Because mine is not from here.
You're breaking up. I'm sorry. Would you repeat that?
Well, since my lawyer, she's not from here, can you appoint me one, please?
Yes, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer for you. You qualify. Do you have any other questions for me, ma'am?
So about getting in contact with my folks, like, my phone kind of like has my stuff.
So, ma'am, the sheriff's office.
I reached out to my cousin on his own. I'm gonna try. If I can get him to do that on his own, like if they're able to come post it today, will I be able to get my phone and stuff back? That's what I'm saying.
Yes, ma'am.
So is that 4,000, right?
Roughly, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Anything else?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.